war crimes atrocity trials in Yokohama, Japan, on March 11, 1948, were part of a broader series of legal proceedings held to prosecute Japanese military personnel accused of war crimes committed during World War II. These trials were conducted under the authority of the US Army's 8th Army, as part of the Allied occupation's efforts to bring justice for atrocities committed by Japanese forces, especially against prisoners of war, POWs, and civilians throughout the Pacific Theater. Unlike the more prominent Tokyo War Crimes Tribunal, which focused on high-ranking officials and architects of Japan's wartime policies, the Yokohama trials concentrated on lower-level officers, enlisted personnel, and civilian collaborators. These individuals were held accountable for war crimes ranging from torture, forced labor, and inhumane treatment of POWs, to massacres and other forms of violence against civilians in occupied territories. The March 11, 1948, proceedings were one of many trials held at the Yokohama War Crimes Trials facility, reflecting the ongoing efforts of the Allies to establish accountability and uphold international law. The court examined evidence from witnesses, survivor testimonies, and captured Japanese documents that detailed the nature of the atrocities. Many of the accused argued that they were following orders, a defense that was generally rejected under the legal principle of command responsibility, which asserts that individuals can be held accountable for war crimes, even if committed under orders. The real footage from March 11th likely captures scenes inside the courtroom, showing the defendants, judges, legal teams, and witnesses. The atmosphere was solemn and intense as the court worked to determine the guilt or innocence of the accused based on the evidence presented. The trials followed standard legal procedures, including cross-examinations, witness testimonies, and closing arguments. Sentences handed down varied based on the severity of the crimes and the level of involvement. Punishments ranged from imprisonment to execution, depending on the nature of the offenses. For many victims and survivors, the trials represented a crucial step toward justice, though some criticized the proceedings as limited in scope, given the sheer scale of atrocities committed during the war. The Yokohama trials were significant not only for their role in addressing wartime atrocities, but also for setting important precedents for international military law. They demonstrated that lower-ranking personnel could be held accountable for war crimes, reinforcing the idea that adherence to international law is a fundamental duty, even in times of war. These trials helped lay the groundwork for later tribunals, including those dealing with conflicts in Korea, Vietnam, and more recent international courts addressing war crimes and crimes against humanity. This real footage of the Yokohama trials provides a historical insight into the process of seeking justice for the victims of the war, emphasizing the Allied commitment to accountability and the rule of law after World War II.